Today I'm going to a place in France. I'll type the name of the place right up here. Calais, France. Now the reason I'm going here to Calais, France is because they used Calais, France as a ruse during World War II, and they fooled Hitler into thinking that the D-Day invasion was going to take place right here. It was called Operation Bodyguard, and what they did is they made a bunch of rubber inflatable tanks, transport trucks, jeeps, airplanes. They had fake radio chatter. They had body doubles. They even had some German spies they captured over here in England, and we're going to execute them, but these German spies said they would become double agents and also help in giving Hitler false information. So right over here, they put in all these rubber tanks and equipment. Now, this is the English Channel, and from France to England is about 22 miles. So Hitler was absolutely certain this is where the invasion was going to take place because it's the shortest distance between England and France, and there were a lot of good beaches to land on. However, we know that didn't happen. What really happened was the invasion took place a little bit to the south and to the west, and I've put some markers in to show you where the invasion took place on Omaha Beach, June 6, 1944. There were 5 beaches. The beach all the way to the east was named Sword Beach, and that went from Oysterham to St. Aubin-sur-Mer, right through here, and this is a beach that the British landed on right here, where they invaded. Second beach was named Juno Beach, right here, shorter stretch of beach, and this is the beach that the Canadians landed on, and that went from St. Aubin-sur-Mer to a place called La Riviera, roughly right in here. The third beach was the longest beach, and it was named Gold Beach, and that went from La Riviera to this place here, Port-en-Bessin, right about in here. And this is another beach that the British landed on. And you can see how long that is from here to here. Now there was a short gap between Gold Beach and the next beach, which was Omaha Beach. And Omaha Beach went just a little bit east of this place right here. So roughly right in here, and then went all the way down to this area right here. And this is a beach that the United States landed on June 6, 1944 during the D-Day invasion. The fifth beach was further to the west and slightly north, and it was called Utah Beach. Once again, this was a beach that the United States military landed on, and it basically went from the mouth of this river here to roughly right in this area, right in here. Now, between these 5 beaches, they said historians have been doing research, and so far what they have found out is that between these 5 beaches, they are saying today that 4,413 people, military personnel of the Allied forces, were killed on all 5 of these beaches. Over on Utah Beach, there were a total of 197 deaths. Over here on Sword Beach, Juno Beach, and Gold Beach, these 3 beaches combined had a total of 1,914 deaths. That means that Omaha Beach took the brunt of the casualties and the deaths, and historians say today that 2,499 Americans were killed on D-Day right here along this beach on June 6, 1944. That's almost 2,500 guys. Now, these numbers may change as the historians do more research, but as of today, these are the numbers they have. And keep in mind, 2,499 is actually a little more than the number of men that were killed on Ford Island at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Now, one of the things that happened was they were trying to capture this point right here. It's called Point Duhawk. Now, Point Duhawk is the highest point between Utah Beach and Omaha Beach, and the Germans had 6 great big 155 millimeter howitzers that could really harass the landing on Utah Beach and the landing on Omaha Beach. So Army Rangers, 225 Army Rangers, invaded Point Duhawk early in the morning. They were members of the 2nd and 5th Ranger Battalion, and the actual invasion began with 10 landing craft, carrying 22 men each. They had 2 additional ones carrying supplies. They also had these amphibious trucks called DUKWs that were carrying the 100-foot ladders necessary to climb the 100-foot cliff there at Point Duhok. Now their plan was to land at 6:30 right here before the actual invasion began. They were going to land at 6:30, take over this point here, and destroy those 655 millimeter howitzers. But things began to go wrong. One of the landing craft that was carrying troops sank, and everybody drowned except for 1 man. So out of the 22 on board, 21 of them drowned. Another landing craft was swamped, and once they got within a mile of the beach, they were starting to be hit with German mortars and machine gun fire and other things. What eventually ended up happening is they got here. They did make it up to the top, and they realized that those 6 howitzers, those 155 millimeter howitzers, were gone, and the Germans had actually pulled them further back, because what happened on April 25th, 1944, about 6 weeks before the invasion, the United States military knew that Point Duhawk had these big guns, so they had the Navy come in and bombard this area, and I think they had airplanes come in and drop bombs as well, and you can still see the craters from that bombardment sitting here on the ground. France has preserved this area. It's a historical monument, but all these little divots here that look like the surface of a golf ball are actually the craters made by naval bombardment and airplane bombing to try and destroy Point Duhawk and all its equipment. But all it did was cause the Germans to move that equipment further back 6 weeks before the invasion happened. Now, out of the 225 men that invaded Point Duhawk, in the end, 2 days later when it was all done, there were only 90 of them left. That's how intense it was. But there you go. This is the landing beaches from Normandy, World War II, Sword Beach, Juno Beach, Gold Beach, Omaha Beach, and Utah Beach, right here from Google Earth.